We are now here at KAULOA Ranch.
Sugar meal. It is made out of lava rock stacked together by crushed coral. Due to dry weather, it became unprofitable. So after 8 years of operations, it closed its doors. Kualoa then gets turned in to be a cattle ranch. This ranch today is ran and operated by the Morgan family, and they are 6 generations from Dr. Gary P. Judd. 1941, Pearl Harbor gets bombed. After the bombing of Pearl Harbor, there was nothing here to defend ourselves. So the federal government, they seized Kualoa's lands, and they turned Kualoa into a military base. These canopy-looking trees you see surrounding us, they're called the mokoli'i trees. They're native to Central America. They are very drought tolerant. And we utilize these trees to help us to landscape the 4,000 acres. We also use it to shade the cattle and the horses that we have on our lands. So these mokoli'i trees, they're native to Central America, guys. They're not native to us, but we utilize them throughout the islands, especially here on the ranch. Coming over to your right side, you're going to see the first and smallest bunker that we have left here on the property. And as we continue on this route, you're going to see some more bunkers to the left, to the right, as well as below the hill. These bunkers was used for communication bases, lookout towers, gun emplacements. In 1945, the World War II gets declared over with. So when that happened, the federal government, they seized Kualoa's lands. Well, when they returned the lands that they seized after the World War II got declared over with, Kualoa Ranch finally gets it back, and they turn it right back into a cattle ranch. Once I climb the top of the hill in front of us, to the left, you're going to see the biggest bunker on the property. It is called Battery Cooper. It has 3 entrances and a 7-story observation point. Battery Cooper currently stores our movie memorabilia and our military artifacts. And it does currently store, like I said, our movie memorabilia, and it does go into the mountains 120 feet deep. Over to the right side, you're going to have the most beautiful view of the Pacific Ocean. You're also going to see that replica of that Puaua, that carved pig's head. Pig in Hawaii means Puaua. So that is going to be simply just showing you how our ancestors divided their lands. Super. So ladies and gentlemen, at this time, go ahead and start getting masked up. Once you exit the bus, you're going to go directly in the front of the bus and walk around and enter the bunker. Nobody is to stay outside to do any scenery photos. Everybody gets into the bunker first. Once you exit the bunker on the opposite end, that'll be your scenery photo time, is when you exit.
We are heading into the bunker. We are heading into the bunker, Battery Cooper. later. That from Hawaii 50. Last resort. I don't know what it is, but I know that guy. It's from Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Journey to
Pipeline, Sunset Beach, and the Waimea Beach. Those are the three now. It'll also take you through the hysterical Haleiwa town where they do serve up their famous Matsumoto shave ice. In the movie, the Brady Bunch movie, this is Brady spots headhunters down below this hill, so she runs in a cave to hide. Off to your left, this is the cave Mrs. Brady hides in the movie. So see guys, not always is it about Marsha. The John family, they purchased this acreages in 1860 for $4,000. So 10 years after they purchased Kualoa, they purchased Ka'a'ama. Now we're going to take a stroll down by our small agriculture and aquaculture area. So the tall trees you're going to see in the front of us, they're Java plum trees. They're very small, dark, tiny purple plums. And we do eat the fruits fresh from the trees. We also use it to do juicing and ice cream. These watershed lines on Puaua would always have a local by running through it, allowing every village to have everyday water necessities. And in the front of us, that long line of trees, that is the cow tree. The wood off of this cow is a very light, lightweight buoyant wood. And it is out of this wood that our ancestors did their fishnet floats and their lightweight spears. So this tree in our ancestors' days was very highly valued. Coming over to your right side, you're going to see rocks and what looks like two teepees, although they're not teepees. They were used as the fire burners in that movie. This is the scene to the right, Kong's Pond for Kong Skull Island. Off to the right, Kong's Pond, Kong Skull Island. That was a really, really good movie. We are going to see another area for Kong Skull Island later on into the tour as well. Over to your left, we have two of our endemic fishes of our island, which is the o'opu, freshwater goby, and the opaiula, the small red shrimp. Some of our our pasteurized areas. As you can imagine, with 4,000 acres, we have many, many different pastures. We usually have about 600 heads of cattle, but we separate them in many different sections of the 4,000 acres. So coming up, you're just going to see a few on this side. We have Angus, Charolais, as well as Herefords. Coming over to your left side, you're going to see 3 ponds. It stores our Malaysian pond. The movie set for Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. That was the transportation station. Now, usually when you see a sign like this that tells you this is where it was filmed, but not in this predicament. So these are the Berkshire pigs. They're very well known for their marbled meat. To the right, this is our chickens. This left here, this is our cacao. This is what produces your chocolate plants. Look at the waterfalls, there's a little bit left. As I climb this hill in the front of us, you're going to see what brings Hollywood to Kualoa over and over again. So to the left, this is that Jurassic Park log. To the right, this is the hill that Gallimimus' came stampeding down from in that movie. So right here is the movie set or movie site location for Jurassic Park. Very popular series was lost. This one here is the episode for Hurley's golf cart. The 6 feet deep footprints. And many of them didn't make it out. So the ranch, they backfilled all of these Godzilla footprints with dirt. Its original depth in the movie is 6 feet deep. Coming over to your left, this is the movie site for Godzilla. Now this movie does star Matthew Broadway. Mike and Davey with a day starring Zac Efron. This is where they did all of their ATV scenes. This is where the ATV match the system. Coming up to your left, Yumi and Dupree, starring Kate Hudson, Mike Douglas, and Owen Wilson. This is where the airplane lands, and this is where they ride their red jeeps back and forth. Now the honeymoon cottage for this movie is over at our mokoli'i pond area. This is where Lucy ends up running over Willie the penguin with that yellow jeep. This is the scene right here. This is also the road they filmed Lucy driving to the Puaua Cafe from that building with the helicopter to escape out from the bad guys. They did use live explosives. That movie is about the bad. We only left one shack up and one roof. So this is where the helicopter crashes. They kill the villager boy. They pay the old man tons of money up on the hill in their house for taking the mules and for killing. And all the way to the right, in the back there, that is the movie set for Jurassic World, The Fallen Kingdom. Jurassic World movie. So make sure you guys all get a chance to watch it. These trees coming up, these are the kukui nut trees. It is the state of Hawaii's tree. To the right, this is hale, means house. You may know it as a grass shack or a hut, or hale is the real name. So this is what a typical small Hawaiian village would look like. So you remember the Jeep that you just saw over at the bunker? This is where that scenes took place. So this big field acted as the dinosaurs amusement park for Jurassic World. Over to your left, this is the mokoli'i statue. It's a replica of the statues that resides on Easter Island here, trying to figure out how they move the statues on Easter Island. So it does weigh 10,000 pounds, and it is made out of solid stone.
We are at Jurassic Valley and Kong Island. Leaving Kong Island, heading back to the bus. Look at that view.
Oh, there it is. Actually, the very first domestic animal to come to the Hawaiian Islands was 1719. George of the Jungle, starring Brandon Fraser. Towards the ending part of this George of the Jungle movie, they do show you on the movie screen, very close up, the two kissing gorillas. That two kissing gorillas is located off there to your left. So look at the very last rock formation to the left and look to the right, the very last rock formation to the right. So the mountain to your left and look all the way to the right end, the very last two rock formations to the right. You guys got it? Okay. That is the two kissing gorillas, George of the Jungle. Next movie site location, also coming up to your left side, is going to be Journey to the Mysterious Island 2, and it does star The Rock. That one is a really good family movie to watch. It is an older movie, but it is an excellent family movie. So you're going to see two more movie props to your left, which is two more of the lizard eggs and an anthill, but it was never used for that movie, the anthill. It didn't make the cut. So that's the same lizard eggs you saw in the bunker earlier. Straight ahead of us, you have the view of the Pacific Ocean. So the humpback whales, they've been migrating to the Hawaiian Islands from Alaska for centuries. So in 1992, Congress proclaimed the Hawaiian Islands as Whale Marine National Sanctuary. The humpback whales enters into the Hawaiian waters in November, so they are out in the Pacific Ocean as we speak, and they usually head back to Alaska during the month of March, sometimes early April. So during their migrating period, after they're done their business, a lot of times they end up reaching out of the waters. So as we're doing our tours up in this altitude here at the bunker, we can actually watch those humpback whales reach. And it is a wonderful sight to see. I never get tired watching them reach. So all the ones that saw Triple Frontier, in that mood, so up to the right, you see the lower level of rocks. That is made out of cement. They built it to match our mountains. This is the scene where they're on the ledge of the cliff. and then one of the mules ended up falling off the cliff, and the money bag falls after it. This is the photo right here.
That one.
So all the mule did was step right down, but in the movie it falls off the mountains thousands and thousands of feet. They are native to us here in our islands. Just right in front of the bus. Called is the Puppy Food Garden. It is a venue that Kualoa, one of them out of many that we do rent out for people to have events. It did once host two very popular people, or very important as well, which is Mrs. Michelle Obama and the Dalai Lama. So that building is coming up right around the corner straight ahead of us. Alright, you made it here without anybody losing anything, correct? Wonderful. So we are going to have 2 stops on this tour. And our first one, actually, there's a lot of construction there because they are setting up for a movie that's going to be filmed here soon. So we do have to keep out of those construction areas, but we'll touch on that a little bit more when we get there. Now, as we come through this area, we're going to come in through some new plants. You'll see some star fruits, but you won't see them as we continue to go throughout this area. So this is going to be mango. Eventually, some of them
it's mango tree.
that have little flowering parts. So you know that those
Mango
will have
tree.
the mango on them before the other ones will. But you see a lot of new growth there. Hopefully, in the near future. Now, right? That's how America is. We want it now. Now, take a look at these plants to our left. Does anybody know what these little green pods are? Yes, it is a macadamia nut.
It is.
It is a macadamia nut, and we'll be tasting some macadamias here shortly as well. Unfortunately, no chocolate, or at least not on the macadamia nut, but we do happen to have on the chocolate. Now you'll see the sign here on the right. It says little plant. And you see how there's a little holly there in the middle of those 2 canoes. Holly's a house. Now, when the ancient settlers would travel from where they were leaving, they would always take a lot of plants and animals with them. They say it has a numbing effect. So if you had a tattoo back in the day and you had to sit for 8 to 12 hours, you'd be able to put the leaves on your body and help numb your skin so that you could sit. To be picked, when you see a white sap that comes on the outside of it, it does get really sticky. So that was, you might see in some of the other ones up there, a little bit of white on the outside. Purposes, you can eat that raw or boil it and drink the juice of it, or you can eat it boiled. And now we're going to have these plants here on our right, on the left also, and the tea plant, or tea. That is the Hawaiian tinfoil. So you could wrap your food in that, and that's how they make lalao. You wrap your meat in there. That's because it does bring the temperature down. So it is a very natural, another Hawaiian air conditioning, aside from rolling down the windows. Coming up on our left, I believe it's our number 2 cross in the state. And they did 51st dates over there. The structure is no longer there.
you guys want to take a picture, that's all.
Right, so I think this is the cafe in the movie 51st Dates, but they're also like doing some construction because they are about to film a different movie here. I think it's Jennifer Aniston, Adam Sandler movie, I think. Right, we're gonna go eat macadamia nut. Like Spanish moss. It looks so pretty.
You know, and then crack it open.
We get to crack our own nuts. Construction for the film set. Ooh. You just put the nut in.
Just break it.
Ah. I do it the other side. Nuts.
Now, if you guys can catch the chicken.
These are called days of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday,
No more.
Friday, Saturday.
Stop fighting.
Always, you know, because it looks good, tastes
That whole area is very, very sacred. And that's where a lot of the films are on the side. Jurassic World. Puaua coming up next on the left. Originated in Mexico and has made its way here. All of the things that were brought onto the islands were brought in by www. That's not the World Wide Web. Winds, wings, and water goes. See how on this one to the left, how it looks like it's going to have some flowers soon? That's how you know the mangoes are going to be coming. So there will be mangoes on this tree. Oh yeah, there's some starfruit here beside these other plants. So you'll see some more starfruit. Breed pears and apples together, but that's the texture and the taste is like. Here. Oysters. And if anybody, yeah, so all those examples of fishes are actually here in this pond. And you might notice a photo there of somebody on the right hand side. The shack where Chris Pratt was living when he was approached to come over and help out with that dinosaur over there. Now unfortunately some of that area is covered up by them setting up for murder mystery too, but the shack that he was living in was right back here in this area to the left. So you might recognize this pond. area is very clear and owned with agriculture. Like in this part of their Puaua. And these little structures you see would be their hales in this area. So they would be used for different things. They would have one to cook in, one to eat in, one to live in. It's actually a vista biscuit. So the name for this plant is the hau plant, spelled H-A-U, hau. Many different uses for it. It was used to make practice spears, massage sticks, kites. It's a buoyant wood, so it would be the buoy on your fishing net. And if you rub this together very fast, that's how I'd start a fire. And yes, all the rain we get does make it lower and lower, even though it needs to get cut pretty much every other day. And now you'll see the hale for the ba'a. That is a canoe, and so that is more like a garage in the ancient times, and that's where they would house their canoes. Food sources in the Hawaiian diet. Taro gets turned into poi, yes. So these are taro plants, known as a lo'i. And every part of this plant would be boil it, put it in a crock pot, do a lot of things, other things with it as well. Now, when you want to grow some more, it's cut. They cut the corn, which is they cut the bulk of it off. That part is turned into poi or chips or anything else that they're going to make out of it. And they take the stem with the top part of that and plant that into the areas where they prepared to put it in. So you might be able to tell a lot of the leaves out of there so they don't get strangled. They can grow to their full potential. But with the root you make poi, but bread is also very popular. So taro bread is very popular. Taro chips are very popular as well. Our garden here to the left, we are not allowed in the garden. I was directly told to make sure that I nor anybody else went into the garden. Although I'd like to, we're not allowed to go into the garden. But we are.
As well, after all, we're in the midst of a flood advisory here too as well. Hopefully we won't get stuck out there. And thank you for your patience here too as well here, folks, once again. Now, I'm going to draw your attention over here to our left here really quick before we make our way over into, from Ahupua'a Kualoa over into Ahupua'a Hakipu'u here today. So folks, I want to welcome you here to our beautiful Kilale lookout here on our property. This is one of our first of two vistas that you're going to see here from this part of the property here in Ahupua'a Hakipu'u way. But here in the 21st century, that is actually utilized here by the United States government here. That is actually known as Marine Corps Base Hawaii now. Folks, I completely forgot to tell you about this vehicle. So this vehicle actually went down for maintenance the other day. They actually fixed it right now. Here we go.
your mouthful. I can't go down to you. Filthy man.
Now we feel it. The hand, the bomb. What's the stare that are coming on?
What can I say?
I'm going to draw your attention over here to the left-hand side of the vehicle. This is actually one of two of the main Hawaiian canoe plants that the ancient Hawaiians actually brought up with them from ancient Polynesia here centuries ago, here making Hawaii their new homeland. We're here treating some of your eyes for those of you folks that are actually here on your holiday. Actually, on first glance though, you'd actually think that is a pineapple, but that is not. That's actually the seeds though from the hala tree itself. So I'll point that out to you as we make our take your car for me. I don't want to have to call rescue on anyone here today on our tour.
There isn't. You said kidding. Just kidding. Your phone needs to be unlocked or not.
Hiking down.
Tricks of the trade by Hollywood, in which they actually only spent here. This film said it only took them about 2.5 days to actually erect here on the property. So they actually do start to fall into disrepair. The structures here that you do get to see here on our property. We will unfortunately have to take quite a few of them down already due to that structural degradation. It's Helemite, thank you. Away with you. Away with you. There you go. Now this grove of monkey pod trees, this aircraft over here to our right is actually loosely based off the United States Marine Corps CH-53 Sea Stallion American aircraft here. Vietnam vintage aircraft itself. However, once again, this material is all made out of, if you look really closely at the rotor system here of this aircraft, it actually happens to be a cooking wok on the very top of that too as well. Dimensions might be a little off, but they're pretty close to detail though. Now, for those of you folks that watched the 2015 movie here, this is actually from the filming location for Jurassic World. Alright, here we go.
Jurassic Park.
So folks, I want to welcome you here to the 2015 location for the movie Jurassic World. This is the IREX paddock. Now these other props too were also utilized in the 2018 film. That was actually for the T-Rex. This cage over here to our right was actually containment there for the Velociraptor. On the far right, that was actually containment there for the Stegosaurus. Again for me folks.
Yes, he does.
Look at that giant POTHOS plants.
But also reinforced by the likes of steel here as well. The IREX paddock here, so everyone hang on here for me. We're almost done here with our tour. Making our way safely once again back to the beautiful.
Chinese man came off of their boats. They all had hats on their heads, shaped just like that. So that is the tail of that mo'o. So again, the real name to that island is Mokoli'i Island. It is best known as Chinaman's Hat, or also known as Chinaman's Hat.